Our quote for today is, instead of calling it working from home, we should just call it what it is, living at work. In today's gospel, a very short passage from St. Mark chapter 8 says, the Pharisees and others began to ask Jesus for a sign from heaven. The sign here, of course, is referring to a miracle. It says, Jesus sighed from the depths of his spirit and said, why does this generation seek a sign? Why do you seek miracles? Amen, I say to you, no sign will be given to this generation. I'd like to talk for a few moments today about the miracles that we have in our current generation. We're blessed really to have countless miracles in our Catholic Church today. Jesus Christ founded the Church. Jesus worked countless miracles. And today, 2,000 years later, there are still countless miracles that can strengthen our faith. First would be apparitions of our Blessed Mother and all the miracles that occur in her apparitions. In Fatima in 1917, 70,000 people witnessed the miracle of the sun. Even the communist newspapers reported on this miraculous occurrence that occurred on October 13th, 1917. So Fatima, the countless miracles that occurred during the miracle of the sun. Then you have Our Lady of Lourdes in France in 1858, when Bernadette saw the Blessed Mother. Since then, through the miraculous waters and through the Eucharistic processions, over 7,000 people have been cured, healings and miracles. Now, it's very, very rare for the Church to declare something a miracle. So out of these 7,000, the Medical Board in Lourdes, which has atheists and agnostics and Christians and other doctors that are on the board, they have to prove that these miracles were truly supernatural, that there was no human explanation, which means that they have to have very strict medical records of x-rays and other things, and before a person went to Lourdes, and then also very detailed medical evidence after they were cured. And as you heard yesterday, that 70 of these have been declared as authentic miracles by the Church. So Lourdes is a miracle factory. And then Our Lady of Guadalupe. If you ever want to see a living miracle right in front of you, go to Mexico and look at the image of Our Lady of Guadalupe. This cactus fiber garment should have disintegrated in about 10 or 20 years. Here it is almost 500 years later, and this miraculous garment is still there. This image of Our Lady is still as bright, this incredible miraculous image. When the scientists look into the eye of the Blessed Mother, they can see the other figures that were in the room when Our Lady appeared on the miraculous image. So apparitions of Our Lady are signs for this generation, miracles for this generation. I'd recommend this book, A Woman Clothed with the Sun, which recounts the 8 major apparitions of Our Lady. And then I think, in my opinion, the Shroud of Turin is another living miracle among us, because even today in the year 2021, scientists cannot reproduce that image that is on the cloth. It was made by a burst of light and brightness, a radiation burst of energy that aged and oxidized the top linen fibrils of the shroud in a fraction of a second. The only way scientists have gotten close to reproducing that image is by a burst or a pulse of light at 1/40 billionth of a second, and the brightness of that light has to be between 4 and 8 billion watts, which is 500,000 to 1 million searchlights. Think of the brightness of 1 million searchlights. That had to proceed from the body at a fraction of a second, 1/40 billionth of a second, to even get close to producing that image on the cloth. That's the closest that the scientists have been able to determine. So to me, the Shroud of Turin is a current miracle, because science, even with our advanced technology, cannot reproduce the image on the shroud. So that, in my opinion, is another miracle for this generation. And then you have Eucharistic miracles. I've had the privilege of seeing 3 of them: Lanciano in Italy, Siena in Italy and Santarém in Portugal. And Lanciano, you have the consecrated host that became flesh and the chalice that became blood, type AB positive, which is always every Eucharistic miracle, and the blood on the shroud is all AB blood type, all similar. And then the Eucharistic miracle of Siena, the incorrupt host, the hosts that have never disintegrated, or Santarém, again, a bleeding host. You have these things that you can read about in two different books, one called Eucharistic Miracles by the same author, Joan Carroll Cruz, as well as the book This Is My Body, This Is My Blood by Bob and Penny Lord. There's 2 volumes in that series on countless Eucharistic miracles. And then lastly, incorrupt saints. We have other signs for this generation, saints whose bodies have never corrupted. And there's a book here called The Incorruptibles, again by Joan Carroll Cruz, and it lists over 100 saints whose bodies are still completely or partially incorrupt in these last centuries. So when Jesus laments and says, "Why does this generation seek a sign? No sign will be given to this generation," we are truly blessed to have countless signs for our current generation, which is a highly scientific age. And again, the scientists cannot explain all the miracles that occur at Lourdes even today, the miraculous image of the shroud, the Eucharistic miracles that we have, as well as the incorrupt saints. So these things I think the Lord has given to us in our recent centuries to strengthen our faith, to encourage us, to give us these signs, these wonders, these miracles, to strengthen our faith that God exists, that He founded the Catholic Church, and that we are so blessed to be part of this holy Catholic faith.